On a scorching July day, a thunderous clash echoed across forgotten fields. History hung in the balance, 29,000 against 15,000. Two titans collided, rewriting the destiny of a continent forever. Even the legendary Grandmaster himself would fall, his once invincible order shattered in the carnage. This was the Battle of Grunwald, a holy war that would shake Europe to its very core. But how did such a monumental clash come to define an era? We must first set the stage. In the early 15th century, the Teutonic Knights were a force of unparalleled military might. This revered monastic order, forged in crusades, had carved out a powerful state in the Baltic lands. They seemed invincible, their military prowess unmatched, their expansion relentless and fearsome to all. For centuries, their crusading banner had heralded conquest, leaving a trail of subjugated lands. Against this formidable power stood an unlikely, yet equally determined, Polish-Lithuanian alliance, a union born of necessity, forging a multi-ethnic force to challenge the knightly order. This was no minor skirmish. It was a mobilization of armies on an unprecedented medieval scale. Tens of thousands of soldiers, from different lands, marched towards a single, fated confrontation. More than territory was at stake. This was a clash of faiths, a struggle for spiritual dominance, a holy war that pitted Christian against Christian, redefining the very meaning of faith and power. The stakes were profound: the sovereignty of nations, the future of dynasties, the balance of power itself. The outcome would reverberate far beyond the battlefield, shaping the continent for centuries to come. How could a seemingly invincible military order be brought to its knees, fundamentally altering everything? What tactical brilliance, what sheer human courage shattered the Teutonic legend that day? The Battle of Grunwald was a seismic event, irrevocably changing the political landscape of Europe. It halted an empire's relentless expansion and ushered in a new era of regional dominance. Join us as we uncover the epic story of courage, strategy, and sacrifice that defined this medieval clash. Deep within Europe's medieval heartland, animosities simmered for centuries. A colossal clash awaited its inevitable spark. Born in the crucible of the Third Crusade, the Teutonic Knights emerged, initially serving in distant Holy Lands. Their purpose, however, would soon pivot dramatically. A new frontier beckoned, far from the sacred soil. In 1226, Conrad of Masovia, besieged by pagan Prussians, sought their martial expertise, inviting them north. And so they arrived, a disciplined, monastic war machine, bringing with them a formidable reputation and grim intent. They quickly established footholds, not merely defending, but aggressively conquering and Christianizing Prussian lands. Massive castles like Malbork rose from the conquered earth, symbols of the order's growing permanent power. Within a century, the Teutonic Order forged itself into a powerful, independent state, dominating the Baltic region. Controlling vital trade routes and fertile lands, their economic might mirrored their formidable military strength. Under the banner of Holy Crusade, they justified relentless expansion, their mission divinely sanctioned aggression. Their primary target, pagan Lithuania, a vast fragmented realm ripe for conversion, or rather, subjugation. Brutal campaigns characterized their expansion. Villages burned, populations displaced, borders constantly redrawn. Local tribes, fiercely defending their ancestral lands, faced an organized, technologically superior, professional army. The Order's knights, highly trained and heavily armed, were Europe's finest warriors, a formidable and disciplined force. This relentless expansion inevitably brought increasing friction with their Christian neighbor, the Kingdom of Poland. Contested territories, particularly Pomerelia, led to ceaseless border skirmishes and frequent, bitter diplomatic clashes. Control over crucial trade routes, especially the Vistula River, further exacerbated economic and political rivalries. Lithuania, a vast but sparsely populated land, endured centuries of devastating raids, a desperate, unending struggle. The early 15th century presented a complex geopolitical tapestry, a divided region, vulnerable to powerful neighbors. Poland, while a kingdom, grappled with internal divisions and succession issues, hindering a unified front. Lithuania, though vast, was a loosely consolidated Grand Duchy, its pagan traditions a target for the Crusaders. In stark contrast, the Order was a highly centralized, militarized entity driven by a singular, unyielding purpose. Their strategic geographic position allowed them to exert relentless pressure on their vulnerable Slavic neighbors. The monastic knights maintained constant military readiness, their formidable presence a looming threat to all. Through persistent raids, demands, and political maneuvering, they relentlessly imposed their iron will upon the region. Conquered lands saw cultural transformation, a subtle yet profound imposition of Teutonic identity and administration, but a profound shift occurred. The Union of Grunwald in 1385, marrying Poland and pagan Lithuania, changed everything. This potent alliance, once unthinkable, was a direct, desperate response to the Order's overwhelming, unrelenting threat. With a united front, the stage was set. Centuries of animosity had finally reached their boiling, dangerous point. The relentless pressure of the monastic knights had forged an enemy strong enough. A cataclysmic clash was imminent. The 15th century dawned under the shadow of a monolithic power, the Teutonic Order. Their expansion was relentless. For the Kingdom of Poland, the Order represented an existential threat, an unyielding tide of crusading aggression. To the east, the Grand Duchy of Lithuania faced similar pressure, their pagan lands a prime target. Enter King Władysław II Jagiello, a convert to Christianity, a visionary leader for the crown of Poland. Beside him, Grand Duke Vytautas, his cousin, and a brilliant military strategist, ruled Lithuania with an iron will. Though bound by blood, their paths were often adversarial, a history of rivalry shaping their nations. Yet, a common, terrifying enemy, the Teutonic Knights, forced a reckoning. Their aggression grew unchecked. The Order's ambition threatened to consume both realms. A unified front was not merely an option, but survival itself. Diplomatic overtures began, cautious at first, then gaining urgency as the Teutonic threat mounted. The two powerful cousins met, old rivalries set aside for a new, shared purpose, mutual survival. Jagiello envisioned a strong, Christian Poland, secure from the Teutonic menace, united under his rule. Vytautas sought to protect Lithuanian independence, to forge a powerful state, free from foreign dominance. The Union of Grunwald, decades prior, had laid the foundation, uniting their crowns through Jagiello's marriage. This strategic act was more than a marriage. It was a political masterstroke, promising a formidable new power. But overcoming centuries of animosity, suspicion, and diverse cultural identities was a monumental task. Forging a truly united army from such varied peoples, Poles, Lithuanians, Ruthenians, Tatars demanded profound leadership. Strategic necessity dictated every move. Their combined forces could halt the Teutonic machine. Divided, they would fall. The spark that ignited their full alliance was the Teutonic oppression of Samogitia, a crucial Lithuanian territory. They recognized their shared destiny. To save their kingdoms, they had to stand as one, unbreakable front. The alliance was formalized through intricate treaties, oaths sworn before God, binding their futures irrevocably. Across vast territories, the call to arms echoed, summoning warriors from every corner of their united lands. Poles, Lithuanians, Ruthenians, Tatars, and more. A multi-ethnic, multicultural host answered the summons. Integrating these disparate forces, each with unique traditions and fighting styles, was a logistical and cultural marvel. Under demanding conditions, this unprecedented coalition began to forge itself into a cohesive, deadly fighting machine. The logistics were staggering: feeding, arming, and moving. Such a colossal force across medieval Europe required immense planning. King Jagiello's visionary leadership unified the disparate elements, his diplomatic skill holding the fragile alliance. Grand Duke Vytautas, a master tactician, brought discipline and battle-hardened experience to the combined command. This was no mere skirmish force. It was a colossal army, unlike anything the region had ever witnessed. Bound by a common foe and a shared destiny, the united front was ready to confront their existential threat. The Teutonic Order, confident in its might, remained largely unaware of the monumental force gathering against them. The stage was set for an epic confrontation. Tens of thousands of warriors were about to converge. Two titanic forces, one Slavic, one Teutonic, began their inexorable march toward destiny. This was the colossal scale of medieval warfare, a clash that would shatter a knightly order. Every weapon, every shield, carried the weight of history toward the fateful morning of the 15th of July 1410. King Jagiellon commanded the Polish and Lithuanian might, preparing for the decisive confrontation ahead. From across the kingdom, Polish nobility answered their king's call, forming a formidable host. Grand Duke Vytautas brought his fierce Lithuanian regiments, eager to avenge past Teutonic incursions. A mosaic of nations converged under the Polish-Lithuanian banner, unified against a common foe. Every warrior ensured their gear was perfect. The arduous journey and battle demanded absolute readiness. This colossal combined force, an unprecedented display of regional power, prepared to advance. Grandmaster Jungingen, confident in his order's might, prepared for the impending defensive struggle. The Teutonic Knights, Europe's most feared military order, readied their forces for war. Knights from across Europe flocked to the Order's banner, believing in its holy crusader cause. The Order meticulously prepared their fortifications and supply lines, anticipating a prolonged defense. A formidable defensive force was assembled, determined to protect the Order's territorial gains. The crusader ideal, however distorted, fueled the Teutonic Knights' unyielding resolve. With the first light of dawn, the Polish-Lithuanian host broke camp, beginning their arduous journey. Thousands upon thousands of men, horses, and wagons set forth, marching towards the unknown. Through varied landscapes, the mighty host pressed on, a slow, unstoppable tide of warriors. The pace was relentless, a testament to the iron will of commanders and the endurance of men. Feeding and watering such a vast army presented immense logistical challenges daily, slowing their progress. Maintaining order and cohesion across diverse contingents was paramount for effective movement. From their impregnable fortresses, the Teutonic forces moved with precision, anticipating battle. Their well-drilled formations reflected years of rigorous training and unwavering discipline. Utilizing established infrastructure, the Teutonic march was more organized, though no less arduous. Strategic positioning was key. The Order sought to dictate the battlefield terms, exploiting terrain. Ahead of the main force, scouting parties meticulously searched for enemy movements and potential ambushes. Every report, every observation, contributed to the Order's strategy, anticipating the enemy's advance. The immense logistical demands meant supply wagons frequently struggled, creating bottlenecks and delays. Foraging was vital, yet dangerous. Skirmishes with local inhabitants and enemy scouts were common. Disease spread rapidly through crowded camps, thinning ranks more effectively than any blade. Maintaining such a vast military machine demanded incredible organization, pushing medieval logistics to their limit. Both men and beasts endured immense strain. Exhaustion was a constant, debilitating companion on this march. Commanders struggled to maintain morale amidst such hardship, using speeches and even religion. Messengers carried demands, insults, and even gifts, hoping to provoke or intimidate the enemy. Rumors, both true and fabricated, spread like wildfire, influencing troop morale and strategic decisions. Both sides engaged in psychological warfare, attempting to undermine the enemy's confidence before battle. The final diplomatic overtures failed. War was now inevitable, negotiations fruitless. The war of nerves intensified. Both leaders knew the battle ahead would be utterly decisive. Crucial reconnaissance reports streamed in, providing vital intelligence on enemy movements and positions. Every ridge, every stream, every patch of forest became critical in the commander's tactical calculations. Initial skirmishes erupted between scouting parties, the first taste of blood before the main clash. The chosen battlefield, Grunwald. Its rolling fields would soon witness an unprecedented, bloody spectacle. On the 15th of July 1410, the armies converged. Destiny awaited, ready to reshape medieval Europe forever. The dawn of July 15th, 1,410. A chill mist cloaked the fields near Grunwald. Destiny awaited. Two titanic forces, the Teutonic Order and the Polish-Lithuanian alliance, stood poised on the brink. A generation's fate hung in the balance, a monumental clash that would redefine medieval power. The battlefield itself, a deceptively gentle landscape, would soon be carved by steel and blood. Grand Master Ulrich von Jungingen commanded the Teutonic Might, an iron will honed by conquest. Opposite stood King Władysław II, Jagiellon, and Vytautas the Great, an alliance forged in necessity. Prayers were whispered, last rites given, as thousands braced for the unimaginable horror of combat. The moment of truth approached. The air, heavy with anticipation, now crackled with lethal energy. The silence shattered. The Teutonic Order's main host began its methodical, terrifying advance. Thousands of horsemen, an unstoppable wave of steel, galloped towards the Polish-Lithuanian lines. Anticipation turned to action. Allied archers loosed devastating volleys, aiming to disrupt the charge. Despite casualties, the iron tide surged forward. The ground trembled under their relentless assault. Defenders held their ground, shields locked, lances lowered, preparing for the inevitable collision. The initial impact was catastrophic, a thunderous crash of steel, flesh, and splintered wood. Brutality erupted as both sides met. Individual duels decided small pockets of this vast struggle. From his vantage point, Jungingen observed, his strategic mind already planning the next move. Jagiellon rallied his forces, knowing this initial onslaught would test their resolve to the limit. The Polish center held, a testament to their training, despite the overwhelming force hurled against them. On the wings, Lithuanian light cavalry engaged, employing swift maneuvers against the heavier Teutons. The opening hours were a brutal, grinding dance of cavalry, neither side gaining clear advantage. Then, a strategic gamble. Grand Duke Vytautas initiated a daring and treacherous maneuver. The Lithuanian forces on the right wing began a feigned retreat, appearing to flee the field. Teutonic Knights, sensing victory, eagerly pursued the fleeing Lithuanians, breaking their own formations. Driven by adrenaline and overconfidence, they chased, oblivious to the hidden dangers ahead. Deeper and deeper, the Order's cavalry was lured into a deadly trap, away from their main body. Jagiellon watched, holding his breath, uncertain if Vytautas' audacious plan would truly succeed. Skirmishers harassed the pursuers, maintaining the illusion of a desperate, panicked flight. More Teutonic regiments committed to the chase, dangerously stretching their central formation. The disciplined Teutonic lines fractured, vulnerable to a swift, devastating counterattack. Then, the signal. The feigned retreat was over. The true battle was about to begin. The Lithuanian fleeing turned into a furious charge. The hunters became the hunted, caught off guard. Disorder gripped the Teutons. Their pursuit dissolved into chaos, ambushed by a sudden fierce onslaught. A maelstrom of steel and fury engulfed the disordered knights. The trap had sprung, devastatingly. At the center, the Polish heavy infantry surged, pressing hard against the now vulnerable Teutonic line. It was a grinding, brutal engagement. Every inch of ground was contested, paid for in blood. Knights, dismounted, fought like common soldiers, their heavy armor a burden in the brutal scrum. Banners swayed, fell, and rose again. Morale ebbed and flowed with each desperate advance. The battlefield became a churning vortex of humanity, a relentless and unforgiving meat grinder. Jungingen, witnessing the disarray, faced a critical juncture. His gamble had catastrophically backfired. Orders were lost in the roar of battle. Chaos reigned, overwhelming even the most seasoned warriors. Bravery, both celebrated and anonymous, defined these hours. Heroes emerged in the inferno. A decisive thrust, fueled by renewed vigor, began to shatter the Order's faltering defenses. The tide turned irrevocably. The Teutonic Order's famed discipline began to fracture under immense pressure. With his army in peril, Jungingen made a desperate personal decision. The Grand Master would fight. The initial Teutonic surge, once formidable, began to waver. A decisive turning point was now rapidly approaching. The battle's tide shifted. The Teutonic Order's fate would soon be irrevocably sealed on this bloody day. From the disciplined Polish ranks emerged a powerful counter-offensive, striking at the Teutonic Order's exposed flanks. Their charge was a hammer blow, dismantling enemy formations and injecting renewed ferocity into the Allied assault. Every inch was contested, yet the Poles pushed relentlessly, breaking through the Teutonic lines with unwavering resolve. Meanwhile, the Lithuanian forces of Vytautas, thought to be routed, began their strategic re-engagement. A masterstroke. His cunning re-entry was perfectly timed, catching the overconfident Teutonic commanders completely off guard. Their swift maneuvers exploited critical Teutonic weaknesses, turning the tide with decisive, rapid strikes. The pincer movement began to take shape, trapping the elite Teutonic main contingent between converging forces. Slowly, irrevocably, the noose tightened around the heart of the Teutonic Order's formidable military might. Panic began to ripple through the Teutonic ranks as their once unbreakable formations splintered under relentless pressure. Grandmaster Ulrich von Jungingen, witnessing the unfolding disaster, desperately tried to stem the overwhelming tide. Their grand strategy had unraveled. The once invincible order now faced an imminent and catastrophic collapse. The proud standards of the order began to fall, signaling a grim end for their storied knightly dominion. The Polish heavy cavalry became an unstoppable force, carving a path of devastation through the enemy lines. Surrounded on all sides, the Teutonic Knights found themselves in a desperate, last-ditch struggle for survival. With the battle lost, Ulrich von Jungingen made a fateful decision: to fight to the bitter end. He led his loyal retainers in a desperate, suicidal charge, seeking an honorable death in battle. Amidst the swirling maelstrom of steel and blood, the Grandmaster met his tragic, unavoidable demise. His death was not merely a casualty. It symbolized the extinguishing of the Teutonic Order's very flame. The news of their Grandmaster's fall sent a devastating shockwave through the Teutonic ranks, shattering morale. Chaos erupted. Many abandoned hope, surrendering or attempting futile escapes into the unforgiving Polish encirclement. There was no quarter. The Allied forces, fueled by retribution, pressed their advantage with brutal efficiency. The sheer scale of the Teutonic defeat was unprecedented, a crushing blow from which they would never recover. The fields of Grunwald became a graveyard for the Teutonic Order's elite, their power annihilated decisively. Their esteemed banners, once symbols of formidable power, now lay desecrated, marking the Order's utter humiliation. The Allied leaders surveyed the carnage, a testament to their strategic brilliance and overwhelming tactical superiority. The Teutonic military machine, once a terror to its neighbors, was now irreparably shattered, its might dissolved. Generations of knightly prowess and leadership were annihilated. The Order lost its most experienced warriors. As dusk fell, the lingering smoke carried the scent of defeat, a somber epitaph for the fallen Order. Those who survived faced grim captivity, their once proud Order now stripped of its power and independence. The spoils of war were immense, but the true prize was the decisive end of Teutonic expansionist ambitions forever. Grunwald wasn't merely a battle, it redefined the balance of power in Eastern Europe for centuries to come. The Order's castles, symbols of its unwavering might, now stood exposed, vulnerable targets for the victors. The theological justifications for their wars, once absolute, now rang hollow amidst such profound devastation. Financially crippled by ransoms and reparations, the Order's economic foundation fractured beyond repair. Rebellions erupted in their former territories, sensing weakness, further eroding the Order's dwindling authority. The chronicles recorded a harrowing defeat, marking the end of a militant, crusading era in the Baltic lands. Like a mighty oak struck by lightning, the Teutonic Order was irrevocably broken, its dominance shattered forever. The victory cemented the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth's ascendancy, reshaping the geopolitical landscape of Europe. Grunwald's outcome reverberated through subsequent treaties and diplomatic exchanges, securing new territorial realities. Even today, the fields of Grunwald stand as a solemn reminder of courage, sacrifice, and decisive victory. The legacy of Grunwald endures, a testament to united strength against an overconfident, formidable adversary. The Battle of Grunwald, a clash that shattered a knightly order, forever etched into the annals of history. The dust settled, revealing a landscape of devastation. Grunwald's fields became a silent testament to a brutal clash. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the vanquished. A once proud army lay broken. Victory came with a heavy cost. But for one side, the price paid was utterly catastrophic and irreversible. For the Teutonic Order, the defeat was not merely a setback, but an existential catastrophe, their ranks decimated. Thousands of knights and their retinues lay dead, a staggering loss of trained warriors and experienced commanders. The battlefield swallowed their strength. Estimates suggest half of their fighting force perished, a crippling blow. The flower of the Order's chivalry lay fallen, an irreplaceable generation of leaders, knights, and soldiers. Amidst the carnage, many high-ranking commanders and grand commanders were captured, their fate now uncertain. Key figures, integral to the Order's administration and military, became prisoners, signifying a complete breakdown. The humiliation of capture was a profound blow to the Order's prestige, a symbol of their absolute defeat. With their leadership imprisoned, the Order's ability to regroup and command was severely compromised, if not shattered. Beyond the physical toll, Grunwald inflicted a devastating psychological wound. Despair gripped the surviving Order. The aura of invincibility, cultivated over centuries, was irrevocably shattered, their spirit broken forever. A sense of profound doom settled upon the Order. Their divine mission now seemed a cruel, impossible dream. Militarily, the Order was crippled. Its command structure lay in ruins, unable to coordinate any meaningful resistance. Vast amounts of precious equipment, horses, and vital resources were lost, further depleting their strength. With so many dead and captured, the Order could not immediately field another army of comparable strength. Grunwald instantly halted centuries of Teutonic expansion. Their eastward march, once relentless, was now over. Their once impenetrable fortresses now felt exposed and vulnerable. Without the manpower to defend them effectively, the Teutonic Order, once a formidable power, was reduced to a shadow of its former glory. It was crippled. The financial burden of ransoms and rebuilding further strained the Order's already dwindling resources and power. Grunwald ushered in a new geopolitical era. Poland-Lithuania emerged as the undisputed regional power. The map of Central and Eastern Europe was forever redrawn. The Order's dominance had definitively ended. The dust of Grunwald settled, yet its echoes reverberated for centuries. This was no mere battle. It was a seismic shift, an undeniable turning point in the tapestry of European history. Grunwald irrevocably altered the balance of power, redrawing the political landscape of a continent. The initial defeat was just the beginning of a long, agonizing twilight for the Teutonic Order. Their economic and political influence waned, slowly but surely, across the Baltic and beyond. This battle initiated an irreversible decline, stripping the Order of its once fearsome aura and might. Conversely, Grunwald cemented the Polish-Lithuanian alliance, forging an unbreakable bond. This union emerged as a formidable regional force, a beacon of stability and diverse power. It represented a new paradigm of power, challenging established norms and inspiring new alliances. Their combined strength, tested and proven at Grunwald, shaped centuries of Eastern European history. The battle's enduring legacy is woven into the very fabric of national identities for Poles and Lithuanians. It became a powerful symbol of resistance, unity, and the enduring spirit of their respective nations. Even today, the memory of Grunwald ignites national pride and reinforces cultural narratives. Beyond national pride, Grunwald offers profound lessons in military strategy that resonate even today. Jagiełłow's cunning tactics, including the feigned retreat, demonstrate brilliant battlefield deception and timing. The meticulous planning, coupled with effective command and control, secured a truly decisive victory. It underscored the critical importance of combined arms and adapting strategy to the enemy's strengths. But Grunwald's greatest lesson might be its profound demonstration of political resolve. Against a formidable crusading order, they forged unity from disparate peoples. Their commitment to a common cause, despite internal differences, proved strategically invaluable and enduring. The long-term vision to overcome an existential threat shaped a powerful future for both nations. Grunwald remains a monumental testament to strategic brilliance, political will, and the shaping of destiny. It truly was a medieval clash that forever shattered a knightly order and forged new empires. Grunwald. An epic journey culminates. This monumental clash forever etched its name into the annals of medieval history. 29,000 against 15,000. A colossal struggle of unprecedented scale, reshaping the very fabric of power. The clash shattered an order, but forged new empires. The echoes of that fateful day still resonate today. The lasting impact of Grunwald extended far beyond the battlefield. It redefined the geopolitical landscape. The Teutonic Order, once dominant, faced a devastating blow. Their power irrevocably broken, never truly recovered. For Poland, Grunwald was a rebirth, a decisive victory that secured its future and asserted regional dominance. Lithuania, united with Poland, secured its sovereignty. This alliance forged a powerful destiny, changing the continent. Remember the sheer bravery displayed by those who fought. Their courage under fire defined the battle's outcome. The ingenuity of commanders, the tactical brilliance employed, a masterful display of medieval military strategy, and the profound sacrifice. Lives given, destinies altered, ensuring a future for generations yet unborn. Join a leading analysis channel as we continue our cinematic explorations into history's most pivotal conflicts. Don't miss our next epic journey. Subscribe now and ring the bell to stay updated with new releases. If you found this historical exploration compelling, please hit the like button. Your support drives our mission. Share this story. Spread the knowledge. Help us bring epic history to a wider, engaged, global audience.